we do hundreds and hundreds of buildings a year, and over half of them are built by DIYers. And we have a fair chunk of people that hire building erectors to put up their building shells. The true DIYer, they frankly, almost without exception, they do a really great job. And they do a great job for several reasons. They have no preconceived notion of wrong. They're willing to look at their plans, and they will follow directions. I mean, we give them a book that's almost 600 pages long now. And it started off, I told you 40 years ago, they got a few notebook pages. And when the business started 22 years ago, our construction manual was about 17 pages. And my then wife, who was my business partner, she goes, "And people can build things with this?" Oh yeah, they can build things. She goes, "No, people can't build things like that." I mean, and when we got started, she was an RN by trade, and she learned to AutoCAD draft our plans. And we went around and around and around on why a 2x6 is only 1.5 inches by 5.5 inches. She goes, "I'm an RN. I can't give somebody about 30 cc's of medicine. If the doctor says 30 cc's, I can't give them 20 and tell them it's because we made the piece smaller. It doesn't work that way." Okay, well, we got through that eventually, but so I said, okay, so I'll give you a section. You tell me everything in there that doesn't make sense, and we'll expand it. So 17 pages became about 50, became about 100, became about 200. And I mean, every time a customer called with a question that wasn't in the directions, it got added to the directions, so that the next time I could say, go to chapter 43 and look at figure 17, and there it is. So the DIYers, they follow the directions. That here's what you do. Just go ding, ding, ding down the line. You're happy. I hardly hear from any of them. They send me pictures. Looking great, dude. And by the way, it's a requirement. If you buy one of our kits, you have to be in this just beautiful scenic spot. Yeah. Because God, they send some it's like, whoa, did you Photoshop in the background of these beautiful snow-covered mountains, or this great view of a lake? I don't know how they managed to do that, but it sure makes our buildings look nice. I know it. But the great majority of our technical support is done for building erectors that are supposedly professionals. I mean, you are paying them your hard-earned money to come and put up this building. And the conversations generally start off with, your plans are stupid and your engineer is an idiot. And my response is, okay, now that we're past that, tell me what your challenge is, and we'll figure out how to solve it. And most of them are solvable, other than, you built the building 6 inches taller than the plans. How could that possibly be a problem? So, there's even solves for that. Or, the guy that put his entry door posts outside the building line for some reason, and then wondered how he was supposed to get them back inside the building.
I can't imagine those phone calls, because just within our own company, job to job, the conversations, and we use Slack internally, and so
we're Slackers too,
and everything's just like beep, 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 beep. I have to remove myself from conversations, because I'm like, this is the most overwhelming thing I've ever seen in my life. Like, there's just so much happening, right? And in the world that we're in, like, a good portion, I don't know if it's a majority, but a good portion of the people we're building for live on site in some degree. They're either in a travel trailer, or they're in a home over here, and they're building another home. And so you got homeowners prowling through all day, and they don't understand construction, and they're asking questions. But let me ask you this. If there's one thing that just pisses you off in the industry, right? Like, it drives you absolutely insane because it's something that you see all the time, and you're like, if I could just take a magic wand and fix one thing, what do you think that would be?
I would fix clients who do not thoroughly vet out the morons they hire to put up their buildings. And they're not all morons. I mean, there are some exceptions to that rule. There's some really great building erectors, but for the most part, they're morons. And people, they hire Chuck in the truck, and then they wonder why it doesn't turn out the way, or they wonder why Chuck built a quarter of their building and got paid for 3/4 of it, and they can't find Chuck.
Yeah.
I mean, those things, my heart breaks for the stories that I hear of, people, they hired somebody and, they didn't check to see if he has a license or it doesn't have insurance or, my big one is if they can't put up a performance bonds are cheap. By the way, I mean, they're not expensive. They'll cost 1% to 2% of the value of the contract, but the guy has to be financially stable in order to put one up. He has to own a house or have some assets. If they can't put up a performance bond, you really want to give that guy a whole pile of money? And yet they do it. They don't check references. And there's some real flakes. I mean, one of them, when I was a builder, I had a guy that was a subcontractor for us, and he built good buildings, and so then he went off on his own. And about a year later, he comes to us, and he wants to buy a set of trusses and a bunch of 2x6s for purlins for a building he's going to put up. And so it's like $7,000, and he writes us a check for it, and goes and puts up the building. His check took a couple of weeks to bounce, and so in the meantime, he gets the building up, and I mean, it's really late in the year, and it snows, and the building falls down. Well, the trusses that were designed for 12-foot snares, he put them every 14. And fortunately, we had a picture that the end user had taken of the building, where you could see the roof purlins sagging about 6 inches in between the trusses, because they were only designed to span 12 feet, and 14 feet is not quite the same. Well, turns out that not only did he write us a bum check, but his contractor's license had expired, and his insurance had expired, and his bond had expired, and he had no assets. And building owner didn't bother to insure the building. And so you know who got sued because they had insurance? We did. And we as in our insurance company, because the judge ruled we were 2% at fault because we had supplied materials, our insurance 2%. Company paid for a new building.
Wow.
I know, just astounding. But I mean, same issues. If you're gonna hire a building erector, vet them out. Go to handsonpolebuildings.com, and in the little search term in the upper right, type in contractor vetting. There's a nice little sheet there that you can look at, and it'll guide you through. These are the things that you want to have prove. And just because they give you a copy of their contractor's license, you better check with the state to make sure that they didn't forge it, because I've had guys do it.
Thanks, guys, for tuning in to the Barndo Show podcast. If you're watching on YouTube or wherever you're listening to this content, hit subscribe so you don't miss an episode. And then be sure to check us out on all of our social media platforms at the Barndo Co. Super simple to find us. And then when you're ready to dive in a little more, maybe look around some of our available floor plan options, or take a look at the gallery of our work, or maybe you're ready to connect with our team and explore what it looks like to build your dream barndominium, you can visit us online at thebarndoco.com.